Welcome to our latest in a series of podcasts, all designed to focus on important subjects. This is the Link podcast, and today we will be featuring Shauna Chisholm, who is from the Recovery Station here in Delano, and she's here to talk about something that's really important in our community, and that's got to do with services for persons that are dealing with substance addictions. And Shauna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Let's start off by telling our audience a little bit more about what the Recovery Station is and what it specializes in.
Okay, so the Recovery Station is a safe place for individuals to sober up. These individuals may be currently under the influence, maybe more recently have used substances and are seeking some assistance with going further, trying to find out what the next step is to try and reduce their substance use or hopefully get to a place where they're ready to eliminate their substance use. But individuals who are also maybe just not in a good place and they're afraid that they're going to go use, maybe they
Mhm.
need someone to talk to, someone who has experience with a history with substances or mental health or things like that, someone they can just try and relate to that can help them through that time.
Okay, this is awesome, Shauna. That this service is here. It hasn't been here very long, and for the police department, oftentimes we get sent to calls where somebody's dealing with an addiction, whether it be drug addictions or alcohol addictions, and there's a time and a place where the police should be called. For example, if there's violence in a situation, but frequently when we get there, if there isn't violence, over time, we've been the person that's or the entity that's been called, but we really aren't in the best position to solve that problem. You are,
Yes.
right? And why is that? What is it that separates you from like a police department?
Well, so for individuals that are experiencing substance use, they're often at the end. They're at that place where their friends and family are having a hard time dealing with them. They may not necessarily be ready to make a decision, but maybe they need someone to talk to. And so we have the opportunity at our location to give them that chance. All of our staff are what are considered peers on some level, meaning that they have lived experience that gives them a different stance on it. So law enforcement is amazing, and law enforcement can help them with getting connected, but we can also help them with saying, okay, time to get some substance use treatment, or
Mhm.
maybe the reason they're using is because they've lost their housing and they don't know what to do.
Yes.
So there's many different reasons why people use, and we give them that opportunity to talk to someone.
Okay. And I think back on my experiences as a police officer. I haven't always been a police chief. There was a time where I was out handling calls, and I remember getting sent to locations where a parent had discovered that their child was using,
Mhm.
back then, marijuana or meth or coke, and they wanted to get their child some help. And I could sense when I got there, they weren't real comfortable with the fact that they called the cops on their own kid,
Yes.
right? But they didn't know where else to turn.
Mhm.
And it's just so nice that people now in Delano and the surrounding community can take, or correct me if I'm wrong, can they take their own child or an adult into the facility to get help?
Yes. So we do serve individuals who are adults, 18 and over. And we do take self referral. We take friends and family referrals, as well as referrals from some of our community partners, such as law enforcement, because we've identified that a lot of people don't want to have to call law enforcement. You
Right.
know, it's scary,
Sure.
because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if that person is going to get upset. So we give them that opportunity to bring them to a different space and hopefully get them started on their road.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, tell me a little bit more about what a client might expect when they get to this recovery center. What's behind the door?
Okay, so what we have, so we are open 24 hours a day. We do not close on holidays. We have staff that's there, including our peers. We have some substance use counselors available as well as a clinician.
Okay.
And so when individuals come in, we greet them, we bring them in, see what's going on with them, help them to identify what maybe some of their needs are, some of the resources they might need. And we have spaces where they can rest. For some people, it's going to be that they're under the influence and they really just need a safe place to reduce the
Hmm.
substances
Yeah.
in their system. And so we try and give them that safe place. Um, we have the ability to connect them with ongoing services for mental health as well, because a lot of people who do come in are experiencing both substance use and mental health concerns. So our goal is to try and connect them back with the resources we have in the community.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and certainly sounds like a full menu of
Mhm.
options once they get there.
Yes, and we have the ability for them to wash their clothes if they need to. We have a shower if they need to take a shower, or we also have some snacks if they're hungry. So they can stay there for several hours. Most people usually about 4 to 12 hours depending on what's going on.
Hmm.
Um and we just try and keep them engaged if we can,
Hmm.
or if they just need the rest, we give them that opportunity to rest and to try and engage them again when they get up.
Got it. So, what situations are there where maybe somebody is not a suitable candidate for the center?
Okay, so individuals whose blood alcohol level is over a point 0.4, or they have a medical condition that needs immediate attention, such as open wounds, things like that. We don't have any medical staff at our facility. So we will, if someone comes in and they're experiencing something where they should get medical attention, we will send them to get checked out. But they are more than welcome to come back and check back in with us and continue the process. Individuals who are not able to walk on their own, whether due to substances or individuals who are in wheelchairs, are welcome as well.
Okay,
But they have to be able to get themselves to the bathroom, things like that.
I see. I see. So they have to be somewhat self-sufficient.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But, like I said, I mean, there's different levels of intoxication. So
Sure.
someone may be able to walk just fine and they're,
Hmm.
okay. But then we have some individuals who maybe their intoxication is so high that they really aren't able to walk on their own. In that case, we would just want them to get checked out and make sure they're okay.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. From a law enforcement perspective, something that I've seen over the last few years here in California is that society, through their chosen representatives, have sent a clear message that drug addiction and possession of small amounts of drugs really aren't best suited to be handled through the criminal justice system.
Mhm.
That message has been sent pretty loud and clear to us over the years,
Yeah.
and I think the rationale is that when somebody's dealing with a substance abuse issue, it's better addressed in this manner because this is all about breaking the cycle,
Yeah.
right? Versus what used to happen in the past. You'd arrest them, take them to jail, and the cycle would just continue
Yeah.
over and very little success in that manner. Now, I know this is early on for us, but
Mhm.
this isn't new,
No,
right? It's been
no.
in existence in other places.
Yeah, so there are programs similar to this all throughout the state of California as well as throughout the country. And those are all called sobering stations.
Mhm.
Um, Oftentimes people are brought in by law enforcement. Maybe they were walking around under the influence, things like
Right,
that. And they can sober up and then they can head back out. Ours is a little different in that we do have the mental health aspect to it as well.
right.
We do recognize that a lot of people that come in are going to experience that.
Yes.
So that's what makes us a little bit different from the others. But there's one down on Skid Row, and
Mhm.
they've been there for years, and they've helped a lot of people.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and they've seen successes.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we've had individuals that have come in ourselves that were not in a great place, but they were ready to make a change. And
Yeah.
we've received phone calls or called and checked in with them later. And they're like, yeah, I've got a job.
Mhm.
I've been able to find a steady place to live, things like that. And
Right.
so sometimes it's great things like that. And sometimes it's just, what? I managed to make it to a week without taking the drugs,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
And it may be that somebody takes multiple times before it
absolutely.
finally clicks.
Absolutely. And
Wow.
that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay because every time they come in is a new chance for us to engage with them. It's a new chance for them to say, "Okay, I might be there yet."
Yeah.
I might be ready.
You're,
Or
yes.
maybe this time they make it to an appointment,
Right. Right.
and we can help them with doing that. We can try and help them with getting set up with those appointments.
I got to meet with your staff a few months ago when you first
Mhm.
opened, and I couldn't help but feel just the positive energy and just the willingness and desire for your
Mhm.
staff to be able to bless somebody because they've been in that place.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been there,
Oh, absolutely.
right? And they know the path out. And there's something very powerful, when somebody goes through a difficult time and they get through it, it makes them so powerful. For example, I'm a cop, and so I can deal with officers that are dealing with mental health issues, that
Mhm.
are dealing with challenges, because they'll listen to me because I've walked that path. Somebody that's in a place where they're struggling with an addiction is going to be open minded to somebody, more open minded with somebody that's, I've been there, I've
Yeah.
been where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I myself have my own lived experience with different areas as well. But I'm a marriage and family therapist. So I might say something to someone and they're like, okay, whatever. But if you've got someone who is like, hey, you know what? I've been there. You know, if they had something like this for me when I was there,
Right.
this would have made all the difference,
Yes.
and they're going to hear it from them,
Right.
and it's because this is someone who understands. This is someone who gets it, who doesn't have that professional license behind their name that says, hey, I know what I'm talking about.
Right, right. Yeah, that's awesome, and I sensed that when I walked in.
Yeah.
Just your staff just has this great energy about them,
Hmm.
and to me, I just sensed that there was just love, and
Oh, absolutely.
they just want to help their fellow human.
Absolutely. They are very passionate about this. Many of our staff have gone from, the lowest of the low for
Hmm.
in their lives to going to school,
Hmm.
trying to become a substance use counselor or a
Hmm.
therapist or things like that. And so it really gives them the opportunity to say, hey, I can take this experience and I can help someone else.
Right.
And they can see it. They
Yeah.
can see what's happening. We've all looked at it and said, why didn't they have these when I was out there?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Well, it's awesome that we finally do. So, without giving any names, can you provide some kind of broad examples of people? I mean, I know it's early on for Delano and the McFarland area,
Mhm.
but any that you've noticed that have made a difference?
You know what? Sometimes the difference is just that, hey, someone knows.
Hmm.
Someone heard me say, you know what? I need a cheeseburger,
Hmm.
you know? And because they heard that, now I'm ready to say, okay, what are some other options?
Hmm.
So we've had individuals who we were able to get set up with ongoing mental health services, ongoing substance use services. We've had individuals that we've been able to help get to a detox,
Hmm.
and then from there they've been able to get set up with the next step.
Yeah.
Um, helped them with getting in contact with Gateway.
Hmm.
So a lot of the times what we're looking at the little steps,
Yeah.
because those little steps, each time we take a little step is
Hmm.
the next step.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we're here in Delano now. Is there any thoughts of expanding to other communities, or is it still early on for that?
I think it's still early on for that.
Okay.
But here in Delano, our program, we are open to, if someone's coming in from a different community, that's fine too. We don't have a problem with that. We encourage that because we
Hmm.
can still help them with getting set up with the resources in that area too.
Right. Right. Well, that's awesome. I'm just so happy, Shauna, that I got to meet you and your
Mhm.
staff, and that you're here in Delano. We had a conversation. It's been a few weeks ago now, where we were going over the number of clients that you'd gotten,
Mhm.
and we were a little concerned that if there wasn't more need shown, that we might lose the center. And I can tell you that I would be completely heartbroken if the center was no longer in our community. My officers have finally caught on to the fact that, hey, rather than throw on handcuffs
Mhm.
and book them into jail, drive all the way to Bakersfield, book them into jail so that they can be released.
Mhm.
Let's see if they're willing to go, because this is, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, this is voluntary.
Yes.
So rather than do that, what if we ask them, would you be willing to go to the recovery center?
Mhm.
And because there's an opportunity to break the cycle.
Yeah.
And so last month, I think we had 12 referrals.
Last month we had, I believe it was 14 admissions.
Okay.
But we did have several other referrals. Again, it is voluntary. So sometimes people get there and they decide this isn't for me.
Right.
And that's okay. We just encourage them, come on back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. And I'm just happy that you're here. And I'm really hoping that we, through this podcast, can re-educate our community, because over the years, I think we've been indoctrinated to pick up that phone and call 911 when they're dealing with a crisis. And again, if there's violence, the police may be the best option if we need to go out and control the situation. But if there's not, and it's simply a substance abuse issue, the best option may be getting a hold of the recovery center.
Yes.
And so before we close out this podcast, is there contact information that you have to offer the public?
Yes. So we do ask that people give us a call ahead of time just so that we can talk to you and find out what's going on. Our phone number is 661-394-2441. And you can call us again 24 hours a day. So even if you're up in the middle of the night going, okay, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Give us a call.
You're there 24 hours a day?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
goodness.
We have people there 24 hours a day because substance use doesn't just happen from 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome. I didn't know that you were 24/7. Now I know that. So
Yes.
if I'm having a hard time sleeping and I need some coffee, I might swing by and
There you go.
get a
There you
cup
go.
of coffee. Well, Shauna, I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all that you do for our community.
Yes, absolutely. And if anybody has any questions, they can call us. Maybe it's not needed now. Maybe they have some questions for the future. But give us a call. We'll talk to you. We'll give you whatever information we can, and try and help. And hopefully we can see some more people coming in, because we know that it can definitely be helpful for individuals.
Absolutely. Shauna Chisholm with the Recovery Center, thanks again for being here. And thank you, the public, for tuning in to this important podcast. And we invite you to tune in to subsequent podcasts where we will be covering other important topics. Take care.